Alright guys, so we are back for another Dokkan Battle video. So this time, I figured we'd do something a little different. So, Animated Muscle did a stream a couple days ago now. I don't know, that might have been like 5 or 6 days ago, where he was preparing a lot of his units for Dokkan Battlefield over on the global version of the game. Because Dokkan Battlefield is a pretty tedious mode where you basically need a really powerful box. Like, you're going to need 100 powerful units, preferably URs, TURs, and LRs, if you really want to have a hope of, you know, actually taking Dokkan Battlefield on and getting, like, a lot of medals and a lot of, just a lot of the medals that you need to do rebirths and also to get LR Ginyu. Now, I know Animated Muscle has to work on his global box to do that. He had to awaken a bunch of units, and we were talking, and I figured this would be a cool video series where, like, you know, Muscle will be working on his global, getting that prepared for Dokkan Battlefield. My global is set. Like, all of my units have already been awakened. Like, you know, I'm completely ready for Battlefield on global, but here on JP, I'm not ready in case Battlefield returns again. My JP account is relatively new, so, you know, I need to build up a lot of my units. So I figured, kind of like an awakening video, you know, type thing, road to Dokkan Battlefield, preparing for Dokkan Battlefield. This type of thing would be pretty cool. I've gotten a ton of units lately that actually can be Dokkan awakened in some form. So we'll go ahead and knock a lot of that out now. Of course, we'll start with the hero of justice. What is his? The global name is Ultimate Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Obviously, everyone is well aware how much of a fucking beast this guy is. I mean, I'll go ahead and go over what he does a little bit, but like we already all know by this point, you know, he gets that sick, nasty, immense damage, defense 30% for 6 turns, and of course the sexy attack 150%. Super Saiyan 4 Goku, just an absolute monster. Even though he's, what, 5 months old on JP now, he's still, you know, let's not talk about the LRs. You know, the summonable LRs, those 4, they're on a level by themselves. But, like, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Intelligence Gogeta, and then Physical Final Form Cooler, those are, like, the 3 best non-LR units in the game right now. Shows how they kind of fucked up making Super Saiyan 4 Goku, honestly. He's almost, like, too good. Like, I do kind of think it's fair to say that. Like, Super Saiyan 4 Goku was too good when they released him. That's why a lot of us were a little, like, taken aback when Super Saiyan 4 Goku was on the LR voting for that recent, you know, we could vote for an LR, and it's like, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, dog, Super Saiyan 4 Goku is still, like, the best unit in the game. And now we're going to make an LR version of that character? And, you know, people were thinking they could even turn that TUR into an LR? Like, if they turned that Super Saiyan 4 Goku into an LR, like, that would be just, like, what would his passive be? 200% to his attack? Like, you know, put him next to that Super Saiyan 3 Kid GT Goku, and he's going to be cracking 6-7 million. That shit would be nuts, bro. Absolutely insane. So I do have Vegito here. I don't actually have all his medals. Again, I have so many units, but I don't have medals for a lot of the units. We'll do another one of these videos soon, because, you know, I've got other units like Hit and stuff who I can actually Dokkan Awaken as well. And of course, it is important to get as many units awakened as possible for when you go to Dokkan Battlefield, because that mode really is tough. And, you know, I get the feeling that a lot of people have, you know, level, like this Beerus right here, this Strength Beerus, they would have this guy sitting in their box, you know, level 1, unawakened, you know, never giving him any love, whereas, you know, he could be a very powerful unit to utilize in Dokkan Battlefield, man. I mean, let's take a look at what this guy does. So he only does supreme damage, which does suck, and he lowers defense, which is also not great, but he does, his passive is interesting. It is a high chance of attack 200%. Now, I believe high chance equates to somewhere like between like 50 to 60%, something like that. So, you know, he'll get his passive off with regularity. I believe it is a high chance for this Super Saiyan 3 Tech Angel Goku as well, who will be on global soon. His is attack 180%. But these units, you know, once you start getting into high chance, that's where it is, like, pretty viable to run them, I would say. Especially because this Beerus, you know, being the strength type, he does have that advantage over, you know, let's say the intelligence type or the physical or the agility type, in that strength Beerus can actually get up to 20 crit. So this man can hit very hard. You know, he does have shocking speed and fierce battle, so he can link up with Super Saiyan 4 Goku. So this Beerus, I would actually say this Beerus is underrated, which is funny because, you know, like, a lot of people basically just assume he's trash, like he's bad. But it's like, no, he's pretty good. And I know, like, a lot of people have gotten into Dokkan Battle because of Rhyme Style. Like, you know, Rhyme Style definitely has the biggest channel, at least, you know, English-speaking channel I know of that does Dokkan Battle. And, like, I know that was the first big unit that Rhyme Style was chasing when he started playing Dokkan. Alright, so the next unit we'll go ahead and awaken is this Super Saiyan Trunks right here. This, of course, is a free farmable unit that you can get from the History of Trunks story event. This was recently here on JP. I farmed it up a while ago, but again, I was waiting to awaken him on camera, and then now I've got, you know, along with Muscle, I definitely need to give Animated Muscle a ton of credit for, like, you know, kind of helping me get this idea and, like, making this idea. And now I'm glad I didn't awaken him until now, so we can go ahead and do this on camera here. So let's go ahead and awaken this Trunks with the Super Saiyan Rage Trunks medals. Obviously, Rage Trunks is not really a tough fight. There's so many phases to it, but the fact that intelligence phase right there at the end, you know, you take him down in that one turn and you're good. So let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. This guy is actually probably... he might be the best free-to-play unit in the game, honestly. I mean, I guess you could probably say Goku Jr. because you can get him to that 100% in the dupe system basically for free, and you can get his crits up to level 20, which is very solid. But this Trunks is not bad, man. He does supreme damage, and his passive is actually attack 70% when facing 2 or less enemies. So that's exactly what you want. See, you're going to run into trouble when you have passives that activate when there's like 2 or more enemies, because the toughest bosses, you're only ever fighting one enemy at a time. So, you know, it's like, oh, you know, this brand new Super Saiyan 3 Gohan, you know, he gets attack 500% up, but, you know, it's only when there's 3 enemies on the field, which is not going to help you, you know, in like the new boss fight where you're only fighting one dude. You see what I'm saying? So the fact that it's 2 or less enemies makes him very viable, because you're almost always going to hit that. Outside of maybe, I don't know, the Mass Saiyan fight, for a little while you fight Mira, Toa, and Mass Saiyan, but for the most part, that is a very acceptable passive. His leader skill as well, I didn't realize this before. What the fuck? His leader skill is Buhan's leader skill. He had intelligence 3. No, okay, never mind. He doesn't give ki, but he does give intelligence types, HP, attack, and defense 70%, but no ki. So that, obviously, I was gonna say, wow, that's weird that they would give him the same leader skill as Buhan, but he doesn't give ki, so obviously Buhan would be a better leader. As far as links, you know, he's got Golden Warrior, Saiyan Lineage, Super Saiyan, Royal Lineage, Prepare for Battle, Dismal Future, and Fierce Battle. So he has a good link set, a passable link set. He's got Fierce Battle, he's got Prepared for Battle, Saiyan Lineage, Super Saiyan, Golden Warrior. Those are all incredibly common links on Super Intelligence. Or, I mean, if you're really stretching it, on Mono Hero. You know, you're going to want to run basically a team of Super Saiyans almost always. So this Trunks is quite good. Like, really, he's surprisingly good. Lately, Bandai has actually been hooking us up with some pretty good free-to-play cards, and that Trunks certainly qualifies as one. If you've got that Trunks on Global, and maybe you haven't farmed up his Super Attack, make sure you do that. Don't put Elder Kai's in that. You can farm it up. Get him prepared for when his Awakening will come out, and then if you got him on JP, you know, next time the event comes around, go ahead and finish that up as well. Next, we'll go ahead and awaken this Android 17 right here. Now, I do want to mention, many people actually do kind of get this mixed up, but this is not Hellfighter 17. This is the Android 17 from Dragon Ball Z and in Dragon Ball Super right here, with the coat. That's like his Park Ranger coat. Hellfighter 17 just looks like the normal Android 17. That's why a lot of people get confused with that. But let's go ahead and awaken him. Now, honestly, this Android 17 right here is like really, really sneaky under the radar kind of top tier. Like both the this physical Super Android 17 and the tech Super Android 17 are phenomenally good. Like I run that Super Android 17 on my tech team. You know, I've got his SA up to 10 from when I got Super Saiyan 3 Broly. They're both very good. They do the exact same thing, obviously, except one, you know, works for tech and the other works for physical. So what this guy does, he only does extreme damage, but that's fine. He's not here to do damage. Then he changes tech key to physical key, which of course, again, you know, one of the only problems with extreme physical is sometimes you might have a little bit of trouble with key. But hello, this Super Android 17 is great. Now, obviously, you know, on global with that buff to base form Goku Black, you know, you're going to have way less problems with ki, because if you have Goku Black floating around, you know, you have the physical Super Boost support unit as well, and then maybe this guy, like, you'll be overflowing in ki and you will be completely fine. He also does give himself 20% up attack, as well as changing the tech orbs to physical orbs. And his links, he does have Android Assault, Fear and Faith, Fuse Fighter, Nightmare, Big Bad Bosses, GT, and Fierce Battle. Alright, so, see, that's the thing. So he has Fear and Faith, Nightmare, Big Bad Bosses, GT, and Fierce Battle. Now, I want you guys to think for a second. Can you think of any top tier, like, think of a top tier physical unit, right? Like a physical, you know, TUR unit who might be coming out soon, who might have links such as GT, such as Fierce Battle, such as Big Bad Bosses. Oh yeah! The fucking broken physical Omega Shenron who is coming out soon. This guy works immensely good on that team. So this is a unit that is flying under the radar, but you can so easily toss him on there. He will be perfect for Omega Shenron. And do not forget, of course, that physical Sin Shenron. You know, it's going to be crazy because Sin Shenron was like, he was never bad. He was actually always good. Like, Sin Shenron has always been good. It's just he's not Omega Shenron. And, like, he looked so similar to Omega that a lot of people were like, oh my god, I pulled Omega! And then it's like, wait. Oh, he's physical. No, it's Sin! But now, like, they're going to put Sin Shenron on that banner with Omega, and you're going to pull Sin and be like, fuck yes! I got Sin, baby. Because Sin and the physical Omega are going to be, like, the best pairing, like, in the game, basically. Well, okay, except for Intelligence Gogeta and LR Gohan. But that almost, it's so ridiculously powerful and way better than anything else in the game that you can almost just, you know, throw that out the window. Because LR Gohan, he's just still ridiculous. But regardless, if you got that Super 17, definitely go ahead and work on him. The next unit we're going to be awakening here is actually this Nappa right here. This is the Nappa you can get from the Saiyan Saga story event, and he actually turns into the Great Ape Napa here. Now, I will say that this guy is not good, and really, well, you know what, never mind. I'm looking at his passive, and this guy, you could find a spot for this guy. Here, we'll talk about it, Alright, so we have the Great Ape Napa. Make sure to max that super attack and everything. Now, here's the thing about Nappa, right? Nappa-chan. He's only doing extreme damage. Not great. He lowers defense. Pretty much worthless. His links, Saiyan Warrior Race, Brutal Beatdown, Tough as Nails, Berserker, over 9,000, Transform, and Saiyan Roar. Like, that's borderline useless on extreme intelligence. Like, yeah, what other Saiyans? I mean, Turles? But, like, you know, you're going to be running, like, Metal Cooler, you know, Kid Buu, Buhan. What's another powerful unit? You know, maybe the, well, I guess the Vegeta, the extreme intelligence support unit is Vegeta, but you would probably always have him in the third rotation along with this Nappa. So, yeah, he's never really going to link with anyone. You know, he's not a TUR, so he doesn't have Fierce Battle or Rebirth. But his passive, he does raise intelligence type attack and defense 25%. So, you know, in the 120% meta, that is a huge buff. So that really will help units out. The problem is that Extreme Intelligence really lacks ki, more so than probably any other team in the game, because for whatever fucking reason, Bandai was drunk and they did not give Intelligence Kid Buu any ki links. So you need Metal Cooler, Turles, the Intelligence Namek Saga Vegeta, the support unit. You need those units to give ki to Kid Buu, or else you're never going to super with him and be able to show off that crazy damage he can output. So, I don't know. This Nappa, you could slide him in if you really don't have anything else, but he is still a fun unit. And Gray Apes actually are really good on Dokkan Battlefield, because the fights in Dokkan Battlefield, you have no leader skills active whatsoever. So, you know, your health, your defense, your attack, your ki are all going to be dramatically lower than you're used to, and a Great Ape transformation can really save your ass. Actually, no, I think you get your normal leader does count. The first leader skill does actually activate, but you don't have a friend leader skill, kind of like the tournament. But Great Apes, because of the fact that, you know, you're not going to be taking damage for the 2, maybe 3 turns that they're out there, that could be pretty useful in terms of, you know, saving your ass in Dokkan Battlefield. So definitely something to keep in mind. All right, so the next unit we're going to go ahead and awaken is this Gohan right here. This is actually the Gohan from the Go Forth Great Saiyaman event. Now, this guy, even for Dokkan Battlefield, you're probably not gonna want to run this guy, because, again, he is only a base SR right here. You know, you could Z-Awaken him into an SSR. You're not really gonna get a whole lot out of him, but he does have a little bit of utility if you really wanted to go there. Specifically against Kid Buu, the Kid Buu fight. So here, we'll go ahead and take a look at him, and I'll explain exactly what I mean here. Alright, so Great Saiyaman, he only does huge damage, but he does greatly lower attack, which is a huge factor. You can always find spots for units that greatly lower attack, so that's pretty useful. His passive is attack 30% when his ki meter is 5 or more, so of course that will activate like once he actually begins his attack. That's not really going to do anything for you because he does huge damage. Even at SA10, he's probably not going to even be cracking 100% or 100k damage. Well, maybe under a 120% lead he will. And his links, I mean, Brainiacs, Z Fighters, Patrol, Hero of Justice, Signature Pose, and Supreme Power, all worthless. Supreme Power does give him the advantage against Kid Buu, though. So maybe you could, like, you know, toss him on when you want to fight Kid Buu, because that does kind of fuck with Kid Buu's, like, he does have a barrier, right? I believe the Intelligence Kid Buu does have a barrier, and that, like, Link skill will fuck that up. So, I don't know. You know what? Right now, I don't even have 100 units on JP, so it'll still be useful to have something here. Alright, so the next unit we will go ahead and awaken is actually this bad boy right here. Now, many people will know this Gohan as one of the Gohans you can farm for LR Gohan. That's probably this guy's main purpose at this point. Now, I know back in the day, this Gohan for a free-to-play unit was actually pretty good, pretty powerful. But obviously, nowadays, him still just being an SR, that's not really going to go that far for you. But, I mean, you never know what Bandai could do. They could go ahead and decide to give this guy, like, a Dokkan Awakening into, a base form SSR. And he could have some interesting passive that could be very useful in a situation. So, always good to farm up free units when you can. So, he only does huge damage and lowers defense. Again, lowering defense, unless you're fighting Physical Broly or Super Saiyan 3 Broly, that's not going to do jack fucking shit for you. And then his passive is just attack 30% at start of turn. But again, he does huge damage, so that's not going to do a lot. But he does have Golden Warrior, Saiyan Warrior Race, and Super Saiyan common links. And then All in the Family and Z Fighters, which aren't really that spectacular. But he is still like a nice little trophy unit to have here. Because, you know, it is Gohan Super Saiyan in his father's outfit right there. I do really like that BoJack movie. So, obviously, I did want to have that Gohan. I'm actually really excited I was able to get that Gohan, the Super Saiyan 2 version from the BoJack movie. I was able to get him on Global, which is actually pretty fucking lit, I'm not going to lie. Alright, so the next unit we're actually going to awaken, believe it or fucking not, is this Chi-Chi. So Chi-Chi, the girl, the bae. Secretly, Chi-Chi is bae. You know, a lot of people forget exactly how damn fine she is, you know, at the very end of Dragon Ball. But, you know, Chi-Chi is a good-looking woman, all right? Let's not get it twisted. But she Dokkan awakens into Kid Chi-Chi. Now, I'll admit, this unit is not worth any grains of salt at all. We get huge damage, lowers attack, and then her passive is 2,500 HP at the start of the turn. And her links are Innocence, Battlefield Diva, and Incredible Adventure. So obviously not a great unit. I'll completely admit, the only reason I decided to do that was on JP, the Dokkan Awakenings page is ordered differently than it is on Global, which I really like over on JP. It's actually listed here in order of when the units actually got their Dokkan Awakenings in the game. And like when you get that Dokkan Awakening, like that Intelligence Chi-Chi would have been right here. It's actually pushed to the bottom of the list so that you can sort through this list easier. So the reason when I pulled that Chi-Chi from the friend summon and I said, shit, I'm going to keep her, I'm going to awaken her, so that when I scroll through the Dokkan Awakenings list, I'll get through it fucking faster. That's the reason I kept that Chi-Chi and I awakened her into Kid Chi-Chi, and we're going to end the video on that. I'll see you guys next time, where, you know, next time we'll do another one of these Battlefield preparation videos. We'll probably awaken, like, maybe the Vegito, the Hit, the Kabe. It'll be fun. This will be a cool series preparing for Dokkan Battlefield on both Global and JP. Later!